Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is NURSABRINA binti Abdul Shukur.
Hi, my name is NURSABRINA binti HANAFI.
Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is NAJIHAH binti Abdul SAMAT.
Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is YASMIN binti AZMI.
Hi, my name is NURMAIZIERAH binti ROHAIZAD. Ladies and gentlemen, today we will present to you the implementation issue and challenges of Islamic social finance in Singapore. I will start with the introduction. For over 1,400 years, Islamic social finance tools have been used to alleviate poverty and promote socio-economic development. Zakat, wakaf and sedekah are among the Islamic social finance instruments that are available and been adopted even outside the Islamic world. Furthermore, in response to the COVID-19 pandemic crisis, Islamic social finance should play a role in reviving the economy by increasing economic activities such as increased consumption, increased investment, and increase the government spending to aid in economic growth. Some of these religious activities are also supported and governed by the Administration of Muslim Law Act, which is AMLA. When it comes to the regulatory framework on wakaf in Singapore, AMLA represents the highest level of regulation. Majlis Ugama Islam Singapore, which is MUIS, play a big role in religious representation in secular Singapore. It was established as a statutory body in 1968 when the AMLA came into effect. MUIS' role is to ensure that many and varied interests of Singapore's Muslim community are met. MUIS' primary function include the administration of zakat, wakaf, pilgrimage affair, halal certification, and other activities related to the socio-religious life of Muslims in Singapore.
Islamic banking institutions are situated in a country with Muslim population. Muslim citizens in Singapore are only about 14% of the population. Islamic finance institutions in Singapore believe that they can create opportunities for offering Islamic financial products. Starting in the year of 1991, Singapore launched an Islamic equity fund called Mendaki Growth Fund, which made Singapore the first few countries that introduced the equity fund. In 1995, Keppel Insurance introduced the first takaful products to Singaporean. Next, an Islamic banking finance certificate and diploma program was offered in 1999 with a goal of providing professionals with the essential expertise in Islamic banking and finance, and Center for Islamic Management Studies was founded. After being observed for a year, MAS was officially a full member of IFSB in 2005. There are 15 local and foreign banks that offer Islamic financial products in Singapore. However, there are still less than 20 Islamic banking institutions that provide Sharia-compliant products. Starting from 2001, Maybank introduced a Sharia-compliant Unit Trust Ethical Growth Fund. The first insurance company that introduced a takaful product, Keppel Insurance, was acquired by HSBC in 2003 and had been rebranded as HSBC Insurance Singapore Pte Limited. After that, in 2019, Ijarah financing arrangements was approved through a new banking regulation, which is Regulation 23B, and can be entered by the banks. Apart from that, education and IT related to Islamic banking also have a positive development. In 2010, Keppel Telecommunications and Transportation, together with AEP Investment Management, established a data center fund called Securus Data Property Fund, and it is the world's first Sharia-compliant data center fund. For the education sector, in relation to supporting and boosting the growth of Islamic finance, Singapore Management University launched the International Islamic Law and Finance Center. Unfortunately, in 2015, DBS Bank stated that Islamic Bank of Asia had failed to achieve economies of scale as planned. DBS Bank will gradually cease off Islamic Banks of Asia's operations, but Islamic banking operation and development does not stop there. Islamic banking in Singapore still making progress and trying to promote the products to Muslim and non-Muslim in Singapore.
In Singapore, zakat is applied under Administration of Muslim Law Act 1999. Zakat is mandatory for all Muslims in Singapore. If they do not pay, penalty will be given by MUIS, Majlis Ugama Islam Singapore. 35% to 40% will be given to 8 types of asnaf, but 40% were given to Fisabilillah account. The good things about Singapore is MUIS opened account for all fakir miskin in order for MUIS to transfer money directly to them. Secondly is wakaf. For wakaf, Singapore apply Administration of Muslim Law Act 1999 to control and manage wakaf sector. Wakaf can be met through deducting salary from Muslim workers. The fund will be used to build and renovate mosques. Furthermore, it will be used to cover maintenance expenses for school, universities and clinic. Currently, there are 91 wakaf institutions. 68 institutions are managed by MOHD and the remaining are managed by 29 trustees. Thirdly is sadaqah. Objective sadaqah in Singapore is 100% cashless. Besides that, the other objective is to protect poorest community in order to improve social welfare. Based on our extensive research, we found 3 organizations that manage sadaqah in Singapore. First is sadaqah.sg. The purpose of sadaqah.sg is to achieve humanitarian service by uplift the education level of Muslims all over the world. Secondly is Relief Worldwide. This organization is cooperation between 30 countries. The objective of this organization is to help the poorest families and community all around the world. As a member, feel this is a social and religious obligation for them. Lastly is Muslim.sg. This platform offers Islamic classes and at the same time open donation to mosques. Lastly, for Islamic social finance is Sukuk. Sukuk was established in 1968. In Sukuk, there is no interest and no debt. Since 2015, there are 31 Sukuk that have been issued. There are 3 institutions that involve in Sukuk issuance, which are MOHD, FTSE SGX Asia Sharia 100 Index Hinter, and Swibers Holding Limited. Several institutions that offer Sukuk, such as HSBC Insurance Ethical Global Funds, in order to investing that follow Sharia compliance.
Wakaf is an Arabic word that means to halt, contain or maintain. Wakaf is an Islamic name for a religious endowment. Wakaf is different from charity in that it is a long-term donation. A wakaf cannot be given as a gift, inherited or sold once it has been established. Its returns are distributed in accordance with the endower's desires. Next, the endower, the endowment which is wakaf, and the beneficiary are the 3 parts of a wakaf. Firstly, the endower must either verbally or in writing declare his or her choice to grant an endowment and select the beneficiary. Also, the endower must be a free will adult. Granting an endowment must be a personal decision, not one forced by others. Secondly, endowment can be in the form of cash or in the form of assets, such as estates and stocks. An endowment must be lasting and non-perishable because it is a continuous philanthropy. As a result, meals cannot be provided. Lastly, the beneficiary can be an individual or an entity who receive the money created by the wakaf's investment. In addition, the endower is allowed to earn all or part of the wakaf's revenue during his or her lifetime. The income will be distributed to the endower's specified beneficiary upon death. If a person is in debt and is put under guardianship at the creditor's request, the debtor's permission is required for the endowment to take effect. Also, wakaf is something that may be done at any time throughout one's life. It can also be expressed in a will. A third of one's wealth can be set aside for wakaf. Wakaf is considered as an investment in Singapore. Singapore also has several wakaf projects such as Most Building Fund (MBF) that can be considered as cash wakaf. According to Abdul Karim, the cash wakaf can be collected by deducting the salary from Singaporean Muslim workers. The collected funds will be used to build a new mosque or do renovation for existing mosque. Some portion from cash wakaf is allocated to cover the maintenance expenses of clinics, schools or universities. All wakaf transactions are managed by Majlis Ugama Islam Singapura (MUIS). Currently, there are 91 wakaf where 68 from them are managed by MUIS and the remaining are managed by 29 trustees. The large number of beneficiaries are mosques, which over 60% are distributed to the mosque all around Singapore. For madrasah, the disbursement is allocated at 10%. Besides that, Singapore also distributes wakaf to the foreign countries, especially for Mecca and Medina.
Next, I want to present the current issue related to wakaf in Singapore. During the COVID-19 pandemic, wakaf could be used to supplement government spending and help the economy recover. Instruments of Islamic social finance must be mobilized sooner rather than later to help the economy recover from the COVID-19 pandemic. As well as the anticipated post-COVID-19 pandemic, there are a few issues to Islamic social finance, which is wakaf in Singapore. The issue is including cultural mentality and lack of awareness of wakaf. The society has an anxious mentality regarding the related big issue, and the MUIS or any religious representative clarify it to them. Along with the arguments, it will help to persuade them, and as a result, break or lower the barriers since they are not as comfortable with the technology because they have another judgment. During the current pandemic, cash wakaf as Islamic financial philanthropy needed to be strengthened in order to assist in the establishment of a wakaf hospital RSW, particularly for COVID-19 victims. Wakaf personal protective equipment PPE, wakaf mask, wakaf polyclinic, wakaf isolation house RIW, and vaccine funding. Furthermore, it may aid micro business actors in obtaining funding to ensure their long-term viability. Some older people also are not used to technology, so Pergas have received call from them asking if we could come to their house to discuss about wakaf because they are unable to go out. Pergas have opened a physical counter to cater the older generation, but they believe that in the future the old generation may be left out if they do not know how to embrace technology, which is a frightening thought because it may affect their ibadah. As a conclusion, the gap between the older generation and the technology must be bridged. Otherwise, they will be left behind and their ibadah may suffer as a result as acts of worship. People can no longer afford to specialize in only one thing or an area, so the younger generation should embrace technology and develop multiple skills. Wakaf and other Islamic social finance such as zakat can help Singapore to maintain their economic downturn and avoid recession.
The Republic of Singapore is one of the multiracial countries in Southeast Asia like Malaysia. According to statistics from 2020, there are almost 15.6% Muslim in Singapore. That is why Islamic social finance could be established there. Wakaf is one of the Islamic social finance organization in Singapore. However, there are a few issues and problems related to the wakaf in this republic, which have more than one culture and tradition. First of all, the issue of the wakaf sector in Singapore is compulsory land acquisition. Following Singapore's independence in 1965, the government recognized the critical need for an adequate supply of land to carry out its developmental project, particularly those involving resettlement and industrialization. Moreover, the other issue we can see when applying for wakaf in Singapore is the high cost of living in this country. The average cost of living in Singapore is high because of country's limited space. For a single person in Singapore, their average expenses excluding rent are around 800 Singapore dollar, which is around ringgit Malaysia 2,500 per month. Besides, the issue related to wakaf is the establishment of regulation that can be the factor of difficulty in developing wakaf in Singapore. The wakaf regulation in Singapore is based on AMLA in 1966, and according to Article 59 AMLA, that all wakaf property in Singapore must be under regulation and supervision of the Islamic Council, which is MUIS.